Hi, and welcome to this week's COVID-19 State of the Industry survey results. I'm Rick Yates over here at Zedsphere, and I'm going to jump straight in and show you the results for this week's survey. Thanks for everyone who's responded. I think we had about 90 respondents this week, which was slightly fewer than last time round, but still a good response and a meaningful size sample. Okay, here we go. Okay, so question one: how busy has your business been this week compared to last week? And it's obviously pretty quiet. The trend is kind of that people are slightly busier, but not massively busier. But if we look at the results week on week, it is getting quieter week on week, and the majority of MSPs are saying that we're pretty quiet on an ongoing basis, and this is certainly the feedback that we've had from MSPs that we've been speaking to as well. I think this is quite reassuring that 65% of MSPs are saying that they don't have a situation where customers have actually postponed or cancelled a service. And if we take a quick look at the week-on-week results, that's kind of been consistent throughout the last month, which is great. Obviously, the bad news is that there's 35% there that have cancelled something. So there's been a downturn in additional services as we've seen the month progress. So this is the request for additional services compared to last week. So week one, 52% of MSPs had requests for additional services, and that was the influx of remote access requests. But then consistently, as time's gone on, customers have been coming in asking for less and less. So 65% week two, around the same week three, but this week it's almost 80% of customers are just kind of not asking for anything extra. And it has been things like Remote Connect, VPN, and anything like that, general support. That there doesn't seem to have been an appetite for much else other than that, which is something that we've known about as we've been heading through this process. So this week has really been about business as usual. So we're totally over the hump of getting Remote Connect set up now, and it's really just kind of servicing clients on an ongoing basis. And that is an increase week on week that we've seen. So week one, customers needed setting up with remote working. That's 83%. Week two, it kind of took a bit of a turnaround, and as we've gone on weeks 3 and 4, it's just less and less and less. So there isn't really any of the other categories that have changed at all, and the business as usual situation is really key. MSPs kind of just almost like waiting it out now for this situation to kind of settle down, and for us to get back to business as was before, where we can actually sell products and sell additional services. But at the minute, it's it's pretty standard that that's not happening. So this was quite interesting. What do you think your customers might benefit from in terms of stuff that they might not know about already? So, a lot of people have said more suitable remote connection products, and also moving data backups off the cloud, etc. That's not yet been seen in terms of actual requests for MSPs and things like that. But this question was really around leading your customers and kind of like thriving in the situation and educating them on what needs to be done. That said, you can do all the selling in the world sometimes, but if a customer's kind of like keeping the purses shut due to coronavirus, and they don't see themselves as being in a buying cycle right now, during what they might regard as being a temporary situation, that's something that is also going to be quite challenging around that. And this has been kind of the same across the 3 weeks. The leading response has been, just the offer of proactive guidance and support for customers, just to make sure that you're there and that you're being useful, and that they don't feel as though they've been slightly abandoned or neglected. Okay, so 41% of MSPs have placed staff on furlough, and that's just gradually increased week on week. So no surprises there. I think MSPs potentially were a little bit behind other industries in placing staff on furlough, but we have got to the kind of 40% point, and still, quite a lot of MSPs looking to place staff on furlough. So 23% of staff, 23% of MSPs looking to place staff on furlough next week, which I think is probably the highest response we've had, with 14% possibly, but not sure. Yeah, here we go. So do you expect to place staff on furlough next week? It was 10% week 2, 10% week 3, but this time a really big increase up to 23%. So definitely the industry is getting a lot quieter, and staff are getting placed on furlough. I think that's probably also been affected by the fact that the government have extended the furlough period up till the end of June. Okay, what kind of advice would you find most useful to help you and your customers during the coronavirus crisis? Insight on how other MSPs are faring has always been the leader in this one, as well as ways to diversify your business. So that's something that has really been key for a lot of MSPs. Hopefully this survey process has helped out with that, keeping people up to date. This is an interesting one, is how dangerous, how concerned are you for the future of your business as a result of coronavirus? And there's actually always been quite a consistent group of MSPs that feel that they're going to grow as a result of this, which is really encouraging. And it's been relatively consistent. 24%, 32%, 29% this week, and actually, as we've gone on, the number of MSPs that feel that this is going to put them out of business has reduced slightly, but only in a very small way. So the general consensus is that this is going to have a negative effect on my business, but most MSPs don't feel like they're going to be out of business, and they might even be growing from it, which is a really interesting set of data here. Top concerns are the credit crunch around coronavirus. Lots of partners and customers have, put blocks on spending and had credit ratings dropped and that kind of stuff. That's still the key concern, and has been throughout the course of the month so far, with there being a shortage of new business being a problem as well. And that's something that MSPs are consistently worried about. Customers not paying their bills. So 35% of MSPs are saying that they've had customers who have either asked for extensions or have not paid on time. So if we just take a look at this, actually 2/3 of the industry has not had any problems with this just yet, but I think time will tell. Getting into the back end of April now, and coming into May, I'd be really interested to see, how, if that continues, and whether these figures start to drop, and people start to see issues with cash liquidity. Are you using this period to work on any longer term strategic programs for your business? So yes was the resounding answer there. And this is what people who work on. So I think is the case for a lot of MSPs, it's really, really important to make sure that you're on top of operational working processes, that you're being efficient, especially if you've got staff on furlough. And that seems to be the key response there. You've got 25% of MSPs looking at options to diversify, and 16% looking at ways to increase new leads, 19% looking at new technology tools. So it's going to be really interesting coming out of the back of this crisis to see what MSPs are doing around diversifying, because it looks like lots of MSPs are looking at different ways to increase the number of revenue streams and diversify the business. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens as we head later on into the year. And for those that aren't doing any projects, looking at diversification was the one that they felt like they should be doing, although they might not be doing it yet. So that was quite interesting to see that, so even for those customers, even for those MSPs that aren't doing anything right now, if they were to do a project, it'd be about diversification. So that's the results done and dusted for this week. Fingers crossed that's been of some use for you. Thank you if you've dropped me a message and kind of let me know your feedback about the survey. It's been a really good experience so far, and the messages that I've been getting from MSPs about how useful it is have been really reassuring as well. So thank you for that, and please do let me know if there's anything you want me to include in later surveys. And I wish you all the best for the rest of the week. Bye for now.